I finally figured it out. Welcome to the last episode of Use an API, our first code mission. Isn't that awesome? It worked. I was able to successfully get my YouTube videos off of the YouTube Data API. I'm so excited. Yesterday I was in a Starbucks and I had to just like walk around outside after it worked. I was just so excited. So this first video series was almost like a test trial for me. And to be honest, after it worked and I was able to finish it in a week, that's almost like a proof of concept to me. I think I just might have to continue. It's a little bit chilly out here. I think I'm gonna go inside. Look at it, just look at it. Check it out. So if you haven't seen this before, you can check out one of my other videos. I showed a short little video about it. But so this is kind of my website. This is the main navigation here. And I wanted to do this site, being my first real site that I've made, a little bit differently because I figured I could make like a crappy version of a regular website, or I could make something that's like totally unique, that's actually mine and I feel a lot of ownership for. So these are the 4 different sections you can go to. This first one right here is going to show my videos, and the whole goal of this first project was to use the YouTube Data API so that I could list my channel videos that I'm making right here onto my website, onto this first orange page. So that's what happened, it worked. Look at him. Ah, isn't that awesome? And I got the titles and everything. Oh, I'm so excited. So today this video is gonna be a little bit different. First, I wanna explain the process I took to finally finish this thing. Then I'm guessing we'll take another code break. And then once we come back, I want to kind of summarize this whole project that we did so that if you are trying to use an API, you have like a general idea of the steps that you might wanna take. And then, who knows, maybe I'll talk a little bit about what the next one's gonna be. All right, let's go. So this final stretch of working on this project started out actually pretty bleak. I was under the understanding that I had to jump into the terrifying world of the Mac terminal. For some reason, it just scares me so much. And actually, I know what the reason was. I watched that video that I had shared in the previous videos that I found on YouTube, and that guy was using a web server, and he commented in the video that he needed to use a web server as well. And so I was under the understanding that I had to do that too. Little did I know that was false. So I went into WAMP server and actually found out that that was for Windows. Duh. So then I tried one of the ones that he had mentioned in the description of his video. He said Apache and Nginx were the ones you should try. So I went to Apache and I was just trying to follow the instructions like meticulously. And I found a random guide that like kind of worked. Probably is great for something else, but didn't actually need it. But I worked through it and I did the Apache setup, but little did I know it was like way over my head. And I went through it and I was like uncommenting modules and doing all this like mumbo jumbo, and then it didn't work. I was like, no, I don't know how to go back in there and fix something. I can't use it, let alone troubleshoot it. So that was pretty much the end of that day. And to be honest, I was feeling pretty discouraged because I was feeling like there's no way I was gonna figure out how to troubleshoot something in the terminal without barely having any experience. So I really wanted someone to help me. And that ended up taking me to the Python Programmer Network meetup in Southwest Portland. And to be honest, I should have looked for community longer in my coding world, and that's gonna be very important as I go on, I know that. But community was so encouraging. I went there and there's this girl that was like a boss at the Mac terminal. She knew everything about it, and she was a Python developer, but she just knew everything about the terminal, and she told me about the Google Cloud platform and the console. Because, you know, I was still under the understanding that I needed to use a web server, which by the way was totally false. I didn't because I'm not authorizing anything. I don't have logins. I don't have people that are like, you know, logging into my personal website. All I needed was like an API key to grab my videos off of the Data API. And that's it. So yeah, I think I'll probably keep going to that meetup or find one that's a little more JavaScript focused, because, you know, that's the Python meetup. That's even in the name. But they had good pizza though, so that was good. At this point, I was feeling a little more confident after meeting with her, but I still wanted but I needed somewhere to come back home, refresh myself on what an API even really means. And so I went to the Code Academy course, and it's kind of a great refresher. Honestly, I probably suggest you take a look at it as one of the first things you do if you're trying to use an API. It's only about 20 minutes long. It's pretty easy. I went through the tutorial and I was feeling a little bit confident, so I went to GitHub and I found a repository that does fairly similar to what I wanted to do, and it didn't work. I was too confident there. And there was another meetup coming up, so I went to a hacker space in Portland. It was really cool. You could do anything you wanted. There was tools for making anything, and there was programmers there, engineers and everything. And I found this one guy, and he ended up emailing me after the meetup with a few files that he got a successful API call to go through, and I hadn't done that yet. So that was something to work off of, and I was like, yes! So I took his code, and after iterating a million times and bouncing back and forth between the docs, because at this point I was feeling confident enough with the YouTube API docs, finally, and I ended up getting it to work. I'm just really surprised that I got it to work, especially in a week. That's awesome.
I had lacked vitamin D and this is the main of it.
Beautiful day, yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
Right?
Finally got a sunny day, out enjoying it.
I wonder what that looks like. Check it out. It's not done yet.
Trade up music.
We'll get it out there somehow. It's too big to be playing around.
What?
So Portland, yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. This is that. In the end, this code mission was a total success in my book. I bit off more than I could chew, I figured it out, and had a ton of fun in the process. So if you're trying to use an API right now, I want to give you a few steps that you can use in the process. First of all, skim the API docs of whatever thing you're using. Second of all, if it's YouTube, go to Code Academy. Then I highly suggest finding 2 videos because one might not be totally applicable to what you're doing. Then very importantly, find a working API call if you can. If your friend has one, if you can find one online, just get something that actually works, something that's super basic. Then while continually going back to those videos that you found, build it out. Build out the API call to what you need. And you'll be golden. Now that it's over, I gotta think of another one. Till then,